Almighty Radio.
Welcome, everyone. This is 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside my co-host, Albert Cita. Whether this is your first time listening or you're a loyal listener, I want to thank you for tuning in here. Albert's still repping the Dodgers.
You win the pennant, you win the pennant.
You win the pennant, you win Albert's heart. Is that how it goes?
Yes.
I think we're about 90 days before pitchers and catchers report to spring training, so you have a little bit longer to go, but we can't focus on the Lakers and Lonzo Ball. We're waiting on Guillermo C to call us in, so we're going to get a little more Dodger and Laker love, so he can't be online and be hating on us. But this week's show, we got a lot to talk about. We got a UFC Fight Night Norfolk recap. We're going to talk about Bellator's crazy announcement that Bellator is just this insane. I guess the mad scientist.
Heavyweight?
Yeah, the mad. Scott Coker now like the mad scientist, isn't he? Like just like this like P.T. Barnum, like Vince McMahon-esque. Like, he's taking MMA to a different level in the United States. Also about Jose Aldo filling in for Frankie Edgar, Anderson Silva's failed drug test, and we'll preview next week's UFC Fight Night main event. So Albert, let's get right to business. How about that?
You caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were gonna get right
to business. I got nothing to talk about outside anyway. So at round number 1, UFC Fight Night Norfolk, main event, Anthony Pettis versus Dustin Poirier. Interesting card. A lot of names, like we talked about last week, a lot of fighters who were kind of on the fence as far as not really getting too active in winning streaks, kind of middle, either top or middle of ranking contender-wise. But you want to work our way down? Start from top to bottom?
Interesting decisions, by the way.
Yeah, Dustin Poirier defeats Anthony Pettis in the 3rd round. And what was a bloody scrap.
Oh, yeah.
Scramble upon scramble. Great.
The blood just made everything better.
Yeah.
And not just visually, but like literally it made the fight better because no one can grab into each other. No one can control position. And so that just made everything more entertaining.
So, the consensus, I think Anthony Pettis, I haven't got an official word. I don't know if he popped a rib or broke a rib, or it looked like
he turned very awkwardly and
he just tapped out right away.
Yeah.
So, hey, for Dustin Poirier, win's a win. I want to think maybe the fight wasn't going to go that way for Pettis anyways.
Yeah, it looked like Dustin had that wrapped up.
So what are your thoughts on Anthony Pettis? I mean, where does he go from here? He thought he called out Dustin Poirier because he wanted to get back in the groove of things, but it kind of backfired on him.
It's crazy. He looked bigger to me. Anthony Pettis, like he looked bigger as far as how he used to look at 155 to how he looked last night at 155. He looked bigger.
He looked, in terms of me, he looked softer to me.
Yeah, I didn't want to be so mean as you.
I gotta call him fat.
But he looked like a bigger 155, which brings like a bunch of questions. Like I don't know if it's just like was that like intentionally? If there's maybe he's not all the way in like he used to be. And to tell you the truth, and sadly, I think Anthony Pettis just peaked too early. I think we seen the best Anthony Pettis, and it just sucked that the guy peaked in his mid-20s rather than when most fighters peak, which is around their 30s.
28, 29, the
so
prime.
I honestly think we saw already the best Anthony Pettis we can see. The best version of Anthony Pettis has already been seen. And then from here on, I'm pretty sure it's all downhill, unfortunately. But luckily, there is another company out there that can revive your
Are you
stock,
sure?
I
I mean, you talking about Bellator? Because we've seen the track record for former UFC fighters in Bellator. It's not very good either.
And the crazy part, too, about Anthony Pettis is I always thought 145 was going to be his real weight class. Because he always seemed like one of the smaller 155ers, especially. Even when he won the belt, he seemed like one of the smaller ones. And when he fought Rafael Dos Anjos and lost, it almost felt like cheated because I was like, because of the weight, that's why he lost, not necessarily the styles or like that the talent wasn't there. So I thought he was going to become really good 145, but he looked like a sluggish 155, and I think we've seen the best.
Yeah, I think the blueprint is out there how to beat Anthony Pettis. You take him to the ground and you
keep him there.
He may get back up again, but you can just literally take him down. Dustin Poirier called out the winner of Eddie Alvarez versus Justin Gaethje. He's all
which I think is smart.
He's all I'm gonna fight the winner of that, and then I'm gonna fight for the title, whoever it may be. He does have a loss. People seem to forget he does have a loss against Conor McGregor, TKO in the 1st round. So maybe he's hoping Tony Ferguson remains champion, if that happens or not.
That's the only way he gets a crack at the title.
Yeah, because
and I think he's smart. Call out the winner of Eddie. I mean, he still has a bone to pick with Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah,
but if Eddie Alvarez loses, there's no point to him to face.
Yeah, and then I think if Gaethje does get past Eddie Alvarez, that him versus Poirier be a scrap, and I think that should be no more contender bout. I think.
Gaethje is such a G,
dude.
Gaethje is a G. His nickname should be Gaethje G.
Gaethje, the original G. Obviously, the UFC likes him because they put him after one bout, they put him, or two bouts, they put him on the Ultimate Fighter. So he is on there. I think the UFC has big plans for Justin Gaethje.
You know what's so annoying too? Too bad Guillermo's not on the show right now because he was talking so much smack about Gaethje, but he never saw Gaethje bout. He didn't see the World Series of Fighting Gaethje that me and you saw.
Yeah.
And that's the annoying part. That the people that are watching him now, that's how he was, man. He was always a G.
Yeah, so we'll see. Anthony Pettis' future is in limbo, and then Justin Gaethje is right on track for a title shot. Co-main event ended when Matt Brown elbowed Diego Sanchez in the back of the head. So I wish we should have called Jason Hendricks of the Dos Leprechauns podcast to argue here because if you're a Matt Brown fan, you probably might want to mute us here now because people are kind of talking like Matt Brown did a lot for the sport. The guy's only 5 fights over 500, 21-16. I mean, he had that run of 7 wins in a row where he beat the likes of, let me see, who did he beat? In that he beat the likes of.
I'm gonna start an official petition so that they actually start calling back of the head. Like if someone gets maybe a groin kicked or maybe poked in the eye, they give them 5 minutes like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's questionable if they even got poked or got hit in the groin.
Yeah.
But yet when they get hit in the back of the head, I see no caution, 5-minute recovery or anything like that or warning, and it's just irritating me because I see a lot of fighters lose from a maybe back of the head. If it's maybe, why don't we stop it, reset it, and let's keep going?
I should have called Jason down here to hear his rebuttal on this one. But Diego Sanchez will be back. He already said already, I'm back. I'm not going.
Oh, go ahead and list those Mount Brown victories.
Matt Brown. I think who's it? Yeah. Well, that whole 7-fight win streak was against the likes of Mike Pyle, Jordan Mean, Mike Swick, Chris Cope. He did beat Wonderboy Thompson, but it was via decision.
And that's how you win a round.
And then, but also real quick on this card as well, Andre Arlovsky defeated this man baby, Junior Albini, who I guess we're supposed to be impressed with coming into the fight.
We were supposed to be impressed by his diaper.
I guess.
That thing looked like a man diaper.
Yeah, he's 26 years old. They were kind of talking him up a lot. You could tell he was 14-2 coming into the fight. I guess he was on like a over 10-fight win streak.
I said it last week too that it was supposed to be Arlovsky putting him over.
Yeah,
it ain't happened.
I guess coming in, he was on a 10-fight win streak. He was 1-0 on the UFC, but this dude, from what I saw, I couldn't get past the diaper. But I guess he's supposed to be good. Maybe it's just a setback. I don't know. I didn't see anything to impress me, and the fact that you're getting beat by Arlovsky.
Arlovsky looked like he looked better.
Yeah.
So
and then Rafael Sensao defeated Matthew Lopez via nasty TKO. Sensao said, "Hey, you know what? I want the winner of TJ. I want to call it TJ Dillashaw. Sensao's too much of a sportsman to kind of get down and dirty. I think TJ Dillashaw is looking for big money fights, so Sensao either needs to step up his smack talk or just kind of wait back whenever TJ is done with Mighty Mouse, then he'll get the title shot there. And Clay Guida defeats Joe Lozon. I think when you get knocked out by Clay Guida, I think it's time to look at maybe retaring. Yeah. I know it's kind of contradictory what we just said about Diego Sanchez is still going. No, Diego, you still go. Joe Lozon, maybe we should wrap it up. I don't know. We'll see there. And then Marlon Moraes actually calls out Jimmy Rivera to fill in after he defeated John Dodson. Dodson's been kind of lackluster for a while. Tatiana Suarez is doing what she's doing. Sage Northcutt. Anything somebody say Northcutt cutting the
just
baby?
That it looks so good.
The baby face promo.
He's the John Cena that we deserve. We deserve.
That's it for UFC Fight Night. Poirier versus Pettis. We'll see. Not too much of a needle mover, but entertaining for Saturday.
Yeah.
Veterans Day. That's it for round number 1. We're gonna talk about coming up next. Talk about Bellator's circus act continuing, which I love. Before let's talk about 5 rounds. Clothing Line 5 Rounds offers unique collection of apparel of accessories by incorporating the culture, style, and attitude of mixed martial arts. They're constantly evolving and improving to become the best fight wear company in the MMA world. Check out the lines of hoodies, t-shirts, hats, and other great accessories at 5rounds.net. That's the number 5rounds.net. Follow them on Twitter at 5roundswear and on Instagram at 5rounds_. Get it on. Round 2 coming up next. Welcome back. Time for round number 2, and we actually are joined now by Guillermo Cita. Guillermo, how's it going?
It's going good, man.
How about them Lakers, though?
They lost. Did you not see the game?
Hater.
Hey, so real quick,
What's the point of a triple double and a loss?
It's all about that triple double, yo.
It's all about the fantasy stats. So, Guillermo, you missed our first round. Real quick, your thoughts on Anthony Pettis' future? Where does he go from here?
It's kind of difficult because he did tap out to injury. So, and I want to see what exactly the injury was. I mean, if it was broken ribs, I mean, come on, guys, I would have tapped out.
I know I did.
I tapped out just watching it.
And the thing is, it was kind of back and forth. To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind seeing them run it back.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, Dustin Poirier called out the winner of Gaethje versus Eddie Alvarez, and he says he's going to fight for the title. But I think he kind of forgot that he lost to Conor McGregor. So is he kind of hoping that Tony Ferguson's still champion by the time he gets there, right?
Yeah, I think it's too crowded up top, but I think depending on what the injury says for Anthony Pettis, for Poirier, you got to give him a top 5 guy. Yeah. And then see where he goes from there. I mean, I told you guys I don't see Dustin Poirier ever being champion because he lacks that heart. But he displayed it yesterday. He was, a couple of times he got in trouble and he still prevailed,
Yeah, and he seemed more like he's going to call people out. So we'll see that. So let's get started round number 2.
Yeah.
So I want to get Bellator announced on Friday that Fedor Emelianenko, Frank Mir, Roy Nelson, Matt Mitrione, Rampage Jackson, King Mo, Ryan Bader, and Chael Sonnen are all participants in their heavyweight Grand Prix tournament to crown a new heavyweight champion in 2018. It's going to be throughout the year. It's not going to be like a one-night thing. It's going to go – I think they anticipate the finale happening sometime in December of 2018. And rumored – all of us are confirmed but the first round matchup is going to be between Frank Mir and Fedor. Guillermo, your thoughts on this? Is this completely Bellator style? Is this like the mad scientist, the Vince McMahon, the P.T. Barnum circus like Scott Croker is kind of getting fans accustomed to what Bellator is? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you interested at all? What are your thoughts on this?
I like the formatting. We've always said that the UFC rankings were a joke because at any given time they just really pick whoever they feel is worthy of a champion when they don't even go off these rankings. So I like it because in a true tournament format, you can actually see who the best of the best is.
But what about you? Do you like the fact that they're having
the fact that it even says heavyweight tournament? They should just say Grand Prix tournament. Don't even say heavyweight because you have no true. You got like 3 people that are true heavyweights in it. But I will say this: that's I find even funnier.
We have 4: Fedor, Roy Nelson, Frank Mir. Yeah, it's basically you have a heavyweight bracket, and you have a light heavyweight bracket.
Yeah, and pretty much half of the bracket is coming from losing fights. Frank Mir is coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
Fedor is coming off of another embarrassing loss.
Yeah.
Chael Sonnen is coming off of a loss.
Well, he won, didn't he? But not very. Didn't he beat Wanderlei Silva?
Oh yeah, he beat Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
I guess you could call that a win.
They're not really lighting up the scoreboards, right?
My point is, it should. On paper, I'm excited, but
that's what Bellator on paper. Bellator
on the actual paper, you shouldn't be that excited.
But Guillermo, this is kind of like what they're doing, right? They're throwing all traditional like rankings out the door. Like we're gonna put fights, we're gonna put names out there.
I'll give Croker this. Do I want to see it? Hell yeah. I'm there.
Isn't Chet Congo in Bellator? He didn't want any part of this? Or is he hurt? I don't know.
Because nobody wants a part of Chet Congo.
Yeah, maybe he's hurt. Because I can imagine him being in this tournament as well.
Yeah.
But then he might have to fight his good friend Rampage Jackson.
Oh, is that what it is? Do you like the fact that they're just throwing in random light heavyweights in there? Like, what's like Ryan Bader? Like, what are you thinking? Like, you're currently the light heavyweight champion. Why do you want to be in this?
Maybe there's monetary reward to join this tournament as well. I mean, like we don't know the behind the scenes type of contract.
$1 million cash prize.
Yeah, and I guess other than Meathead, there's like you said, there's no giant like heavyweights, right? Like Fedor's walking around with 220. I mean, Roy Nelson walks around, but he's not like a staggering like giant.
Do you want to know who I think is gonna win before this round?
Yeah, I'll go. Who do you got?
Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen.
Boom. He's gonna have Guillermo's boy Matt Mitrione, and he's gonna put him down. He's gonna stay down. He's gonna upset Ryan Bader, and I feel there's going to be an injury in there, leaving Chael Sonnen winning it.
So what about you, Guillermo? You have an early pick. Who's your pick now? We have the whole year to talk about this. So
Yeah. My early pick, I want to say Fedor.
yeah, wow,
Um,
that'd be
just because
storybook ending right there.
Your boy Matt Mitrione
Well,
just beat him, bro.
No revenge.
and I was gonna say the other dark horse is Matt Mitrione for me, but for Matt Mitrione, it's always been consistency and not getting injured.
Yeah,
I think
And
Rampage
with
beats
fake-
Matt Mitrione.
that'd be kind of cool.
And the thing is, if you're talking about this being a Grand Prix, then Fedor Emelianenko has the biggest advantage. I mean, like he doesn't really need to cut weight. He has the overhand right. I mean, everything that you need from that guy. I mean, like he. I mean, can you imagine him laying one punch on Rampage or Ryan Bader?
Yeah. Also, I heard too. I don't know if it's true or not.
Lighter guys.
Yeah, I also heard that Rory McDonald wants to be an alternate.
Woo! I love it. I love it.
He already expressed like he wants to be.
Don't even mention Musasi because it's going to get too hot in
Just
here.
throw everybody in one big battle royal in Bellator. So that's it for round number 2. We're going to come back and talk about whether or not you guys agree with Jose Aldo filling in for Frankie Edgar to get another crack at the featherweight title. But before I do, let's talk about Mobilitas. Mobility tools, the best mobility tools on the planet. Durable, portable, manufactured release products designed with more grip to help you improve performance and recover faster. Visit yourjoint.com for more information. Shop the great lines of products. They're also on Instagram at Mobilitas. Like them on Facebook. And they also have great tutorials on youtube.com/yourjoint to help you stay healthy and get the best workout possible. Round 3 coming up next. All right, welcome back. So word broke out last week that Frankie Edgar suffered a facial injury or some sort, or is
Orbital.
injured. Was it?
Fracture orbital.
A fracture orbital bone?
you
Orbital
did see
bone?
They cut to him last night on the fight.
You look fine to you?
And he looked fine, but yeah, he had a little bruising on his face.
So he is out at UFC 218 December 2nd, and there was a little bit of a kind of up in the air as who Max Holloway was going to fight. At first, like, they thought he was going to be pulled out completely, but he's like, no, he's like, Detroit, I want to fight. I've been training. You guys deserve a championship bout. So let's say, hey, we'll keep Max Holloway on there. And it kind of came down to 3 or 4 people with Cub Swanson, Brian Ortega. I threw my boy Ricardo Lamas in there because I think he's well-deserved of a title shot. And then Jose Aldo. They all kind of volunteered their services to fight. And I think to my surprise, Jose Aldo was chosen by the UFC to fill in. So now we have a rematch, Max Holloway versus Jose Aldo Part 2 for the featherweight title, even though Aldo lost via TKO in the 3rd round of the first fight back in June. Guillermo, are you cool with Jose Aldo being selected to face Max Holloway again? Is he deserving, or what do you think? Or can you maybe get in the mind of the UFC here?
So here's the thing: is I don't think he's deserving. But how are you going to sell this card without a name like Jose Aldo? I mean, like you said, Cub Swanson's Ricardo Lamas and Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
There's no real beef between Max Holloway and those guys. So how are you going to build up that storyline so quickly? You know,
Yeah.
At least the history with Jose Aldo is there. You know, where's Aldo or Waldo? You know, and all the beef from the first match, but it was very convincingly that Max Holloway was the better fighter. But the beef is there, so it's an easy way to sell the fight and still have it as a main event.
I think this also continues Jose Aldo's streak of fighting for the title every fight he's ever had. Like his 15th consecutive title fight. Albert, you cool with Jose Aldo being? I mean, are you cool with it, or do you understand why?
First off, today, right now, it's a perfect example of why Guillermo's not a true MMA fan.
Okay, wow.
Because if he knew better, if he actually followed MMA the way I follow MMA, the true storyline is with Cub Swanson. He's on a 4-fight win streak with his last loss being to guess to who?
Who?
Max Holloway. And if he was talking over there about storylines and blah, 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 this is the storyline right here. He wants revenge off of his last loss after going through a 4 impressive win streak. There's a storyline right there. And my boy Brian Ortega is a beast. He deserved it way more. Again, another guy that has a winning streak going on that deserved the belt over Jose Aldo.
Yeah, it seemed like they were all kind of like not as aggressive, I guess. Like Cub Swanson was kind of at first, well, I don't know, it's my last fight on my contract, but we'll see. But then, like towards the end, he kind of okay, I'm into it. Brian Ortega, did like, oh yeah, they weren't like too aggressive with it. And I think Jose Aldo was the first one to say, hey, I'm ready. Maybe it came down to like, hey, okay, the first one to raise your hand gets it, and Jose Aldo did. I mean, I kind of tend to agree with Guillermo here. Like, I don't agree with it, but I get it. Jose Aldo is a name. And then maybe we could see a different version of Jose Aldo. I don't know, but
Don't like it.
I mean,
Hey, well, here's the last thing is I don't know why Albert's just not blunt about it. Before today, who is Brian Ortega? Who is Ricardo Lamas?
hey,
I
the
mean, these
bullies.
guys aren't these guys aren't
Don't you be
very.
disrespecting.
I get that, but to the casual MMA fan, they don't know who these guys are. They know
Yeah.
who Jose Aldo is. Then they're starting to know who Max Holloway is.
Yeah.
So that's the fight that people will actually buy the pay per view, Albert.
Actually, Ricardo Lamas was scheduled to face Jose Aldo UFC on Fox on December
Take it,
16th.
we'll take that.
So now he doesn't have an
Yeah,
opponent
not
now.
a pay per view, Albert.
He doesn't have an opponent now. So I don't think it was even the main event either. It was just on the card. So yeah, we'll see. The main event for that card is Robbie Lawler versus Rafael Dos Anjos. So yeah, for Jose Aldo. I mean, if you're gonna go by pedigree alone, I guess he's deserving. He's the most successful featherweight in UFC history. I mean, other than I think he was the only featherweight champion before Conor McGregor got there in the UFC.
And,
So I guess the benefit of the doubt goes to him. But we'll
and then
see.
the last thing,
Go ahead.
the last point I want to make, Alex, is it shows you how much the featherweight division has dropped. Remember when this division was like monster matchups? Like
Yeah.
I mean, like every matchup was you're gonna expect fireworks, but now it's like who's left in this weight class?
Yeah.
So
Especially Jose Aldo too, talking about like boxing. He seems like his heart's not really into MMA, but maybe this title fight is exactly what he needs. But wouldn't the worst thing ever happen is if Jose Aldo somehow beats Max Holloway and then they has Frankie Edgar waiting there? Like, so we have to run that back again. Aldo versus Edgar 15.
I just hope Max Holloway
Yeah.
wins, and he wins by stand-up again, so he can tell Jose Aldo, "Where's your boxing, bro? You went out there for a year to box, and look at you."
Yeah, that's it for round number 3. We're going to take a small break and come back and enter the championship rounds. But before we do that, let's give a shout-out to our friends at the Dos Leprechauns podcast. Jason and Nate Hendricks talk about everything. It's centered on Notre Dame football, college football, but it's not specifically that. They talk about professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, pop culture, sports in general. It's a great podcast. They're on Facebook Live every weekend, or every other weekend. They're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're on all forms of social media. That's a Dos Leprechauns podcast. Do me a favor, do us a favor, and give them a shout out and tell them 5 Round MMA sent you there. We got 2 more rounds coming up. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. Let's enter the championship rounds. Albert, there was a time when you were an avid, diehard Anderson Silva fan.
The only time I wore yellow was when he fought.
When we fought. Now he has been pulled from his bout against Kevin Gastelum for potential USADA violation the second time. This is the second time, like how many years already? Were you surprised when you saw this news?
Actually, I wasn't.
You wasn't?
I wasn't like shocking. I wasn't like, "Oh my gosh, he got caught."
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like it's upsetting for the sport and a fan because it was a fan fight. Let's keep it real. I mean, if Anderson Silva would have beat Kevin Gastelum, I don't think it would have really done much as far as pushing him in title contention. Maybe it would have stirred the pot a little bit and say, "Look, GSP and Anderson Silva can finally fight." But other than that, it was a fans fight.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Guillermo, so what does this do? Like, is this the official, like, final nail in the coffin of Anderson Silva's legacy? Should everything just be kind of wiped from the record books, or was he kind of like in the Barry? I kind of equate to the Barry Bonds scenario, Roger Clemens. Yeah, he was probably taking something, but wasn't everybody taking something back then? Or is this kind of is this like, no, you're done,
Pretty
dude?
USADA, everybody was on
Well,
something.
But we're at a point where it's like they're testing a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's obvious, him being caught so consistently.
Yeah, I know, right.
Not even a short time span.
Yeah.
It just shows you he's trying to find whatever edge he can to still stay relevant or still compete in the middleweight division. I mean, like, I could see him going after super fights and not necessarily. The thing is, I don't know. I don't care what Albert says. I think this fight between him, between Gastelum and Anderson Silva, did have title implications because Gastelum actually showed that he can keep up with Chris Weidman. It was just
but Chris Weidman clearly showed that size matters.
Well, yeah, of course.
No
but did you expect it to be as competitive as it was? No. And Kevin Gastelum shows that he can actually hang in his weight class if he's able to somehow, some way finish it within the first round or tire these guys out to survive like a decision. But he has the skill set to at least compete.
Yeah.
So I think if Anderson Silva would have beat Kevin Gastelum, you're talking about him actually making another run at the middleweight title.
You know what?
But,
it was also easy for Michael Bisping to take this fight? He hates Thanksgiving. He doesn't celebrate.
He's not
American.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so I think that's a good point too, Guillermo. I think Gastelum was probably going to go back down to 170, but then when you're going to fight Anderson Silva, you take the opportunity, right? Especially because just be on a poster with him, and obviously you get that main event money. But now he actually kind of got lucky, and now that Michael Bisping's going to fill in after just getting demolished by GSP, like
I wouldn't say demolished.
He got choked out,
hey,
bro.
Let's keep it real. Why would Michael Bisping want to take this fight with Kevin Gastelum on short notice?
Why? I don't know why.
Because he hates Thanksgiving.
No, man. I'll tell you why. It's because he knows that a win over Kevin Gastelum shows that, hey, he can still compete at the middleweight division.
I can't bully guys that are not supposed to be in this weight class.
So he's gonna put over.
Is that what he's gonna do?
Is he gonna put over Kevin Gastelum? Is that what you're saying?
In all honesty, that's exactly what that was my first thought. Was like Michael Bisping just wants to show everybody that he doesn't get punked around by smaller weight class guys.
Wow. Okay.
And he got punked around by GSP, and I think that left a bitter taste in his mouth. He's like, "Look, no, I'm gonna go punk Kevin Gastelum and show everyone that I fight at 185 and that these 170ers can't hang with me." But guess what? I think Michael Bisping's gonna get a rude awakening.
I think you guys are undervaluing the Kevin Gastelum's name. I mean, I think you're undervaluing because even Chris Weidman took that fight. I mean, like obviously they think highly of Kevin Gastelum for him to be mentioned against these elite middleweights. I mean, you have Chris Weidman calling him, fighting him. Then you got Anderson Silva, like I want this fight, and now Michael Bisping out of nowhere. I mean, like you can say what you want that subliminal that he wants to show that he can beat all these low weight class, but Kevin Gastelum actually has something to sell at the middleweight division.
Yeah, but at the same time, all the thing that all these three fighters have in common, they all think they can beat Kevin Gastelum because of his weight, because he's a 170 pounder. I bet you ain't that Chris Weidman didn't mind taking that fight knowing that he's going to have the weight advantage. I bet you Anderson Silva took that fight knowing that, hey, look, this is probably one of the easier fighters I can take at 185.
Wait. Well, you could say that throughout his whole middleweight run, but he's been beating people left and right, Kevin Gastelum, until he got his but that's my point. Is don't sound the guy short.
I'm not selling him short. I'm saying they're selling him short. Saying that
it's an easy. Well, you're acting like this guy's an easy according to
they're acting
all these
like
heavier guys, but he has something to value to everybody else or everybody that wants to face him.
Yeah, I think I just wish he would go down to 170 because I think he would be beat. But it's just as a fellow,
you can't make weight.
As a fellow Mexicano, I know exactly what he's going through.
The tortillas
can't get to you.
Love them tacos. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I do agree. I think Michael Bisping, it's crazy. Respect to Michael Bisping for taking the fight, but like, man, dude, you got to heal up, bro. Unless he's planning on having a good Christmas, he wants to get all that money in. So maybe that's it for round number 4. We're gonna come back and talk about the. We're gonna touch on the Verdum versus Tibia fight card, but also want to talk about
but just touch it. That's all.
Yeah, we're just going to touch it real quick. But I also want to talk about Bellator's marketing strategy over this past weekend. But before we do that, let's talk about our great partners at FightBookMMA.com. FightBookMMA.com is the only place you'll find real combat sports news from all over the world. A website you can trust with accurate news from MMA, kickboxing, and boxing. They cover everything from local promotions to the major ones like UFC, Bellator, MMA. LFA, King of the Cage, Golden Boy Promotions for boxing, Lion Fight for Muay Thai. It's all there under one roof. It has a great collection of podcast-centered combat sports center podcasts under there. We're there as well. They're on, like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Super active. Just do your favorite, bookmark this website. That way you have an accurate source for all combat sports news. That's FightBookMMA.com. 5th and final round coming up next. Welcome back. Time for the 5th and final round. So UFC Fight Night, Verdum versus Marcin Tybura. I think he's filling in for Mark Hunt. Fabricio Verdum is. This fight's going to take place November 18th, live on Fox Sports 1.
BS.
Yeah, because Mark Hunt wrote an essay saying that he doesn't really remember stuff anymore.
You can't write essays no more about yourself.
I guess so. The UFC pulled him. Verdum is filling in. This is November 18th, live from Sydney, Australia on Fox Sports 1. On this card, Beck Rollins versus Jessica Rosa Clark. So Marcin is 16-2. This is his fourth fight in the UFC. He lost to Timothy Johnson. He's coming off a win against Andrei Arlovsky, but who has it nowadays? So I guess this was originally.
Hey, he won.
Yeah, this is kind of a card just to kind of get the Australia crowd going because Mark Hunt was on it. Tim Means is on this card.
Honestly, this card could have been on the Fight Pass.
Yeah, this is Will Brooks is on this card, but Will Brooks at the bottom of the freaking
They have no respect
Fight
for
Pass.
Will Brooks.
I guess
that's
not.
why.
Daniel Kelly, our former guest Elias Theodore is on here as well, but this is kind of a card that's kind of
Let's keep it real. Fight Pass card written all over it ever
Yeah.
since Mark Hunt pulled out.
Yeah.
Or they've made him pull out.
for Reese doing isn't really something I got to tune in to watch. Justice League
If
comes
I
out
want to see someone's goofy face, I would look up Guillermo on Instagram.
at what? What's his handle?
You look, I don't know your handle, Guillermo.
You don't even know your old brother's
No,
handle?
I think it's like Memo08 or something.
Guillermo,
See the wars.
See the
Man,
worst.
don't you
You
put
see
my
what know
handle
is like you don't even know your own brother's handle. How dare you? Yeah. So I mean, obviously we're gonna watch it because we have to watch it, but I'll probably just kind of record it and come back. But because Justice League comes out next week, so plus I'm all.
You're gonna watch Justice League?
Yeah, I have to.
Wow,
Plus,
Alex,
I have to.
Wow.
I have to just to see. My curiosity is like I have to watch it, and then maybe check out Thor Ragnarok.
I'm
If you want to give me $20, bro, I can
watch it
tell you.
dry. That's what I'm gonna do.
What'd you say? Come just give me $20, and you.
Yeah, just give me the $20 and I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'll come to my senses. But I actually want to talk about. Okay, so
right.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So UFC fight that's gonna happen. But the biggest news, Bellator had an event this past weekend. Bellator 187 took place in Dublin, Ireland.
How is it that Conor McGregor gets our 5th round again?
It gets fifth round again.
And he's not
So
even fighting.
I guess after Conor McGregor had his teammate Charlie Ward on the card, and Charlie Ward did win the bout. And after Charlie Ward, so Conor McGregor wasn't even in the corner; he was a guest.
So there's actually like a bunch of controversy
Yeah.
here. There's 3 storylines here.
So
but
Conor
go ahead
McGregor
and
was not in the corner of Charlie Ward. He was actually just watching it in the crowd. So after Charlie Ward won, McGregor runs through, hops over the fence, gets in the cage, and tackles Charlie Ward, celebrating, so happy for him. And then all of a sudden, after that, McGregor goes after referee Mark Goddard and kind of pushes him in the back and starts talking crap. I don't know what happened here. But what was so interesting is that Bellator MMA was so quick to, because it was on the tape delay, so it wasn't gonna, it was air during the daytime, it was gonna air.
It's pre-recorded.
Yeah, it was gonna air on Spike later on the night. But they were so quick to tune into Spike TV to watch Bellator. We're not really promoting the fighters, but hey, you're gonna get to see Conor McGregor on Bellator TV, guys. Tune in, and even Spike TV jumped on it. What does this say to the magnitude of popularity and fame that McGregor has? The fact that he's gonna be on camera, the rival promotion is promoting it. Like, hey guys, he's not gonna fight, he's not gonna say anything, but hey, come watch Conor McGregor just cause chaos on Bellator TV. Can you guys just speak to the magnitude of how popular Conor McGregor is? That the fact that Spike TV is just saying, hey, just tune in, don't even forget about Bellator the fights. Tune in to watch Conor McGregor.
I mean, that says it all right there. The guy is money. Like he is the headline in MMA.
Yeah.
And Bellator was able to get him without even signing him. They didn't even have to pay him.
Yeah.
Or who knows?
Guillermo, you haven't talked. It's just like it speaks for itself, right?
The only thing I was gonna say is you got to strike while the iron's hot, and you want to steal eyeballs from the UFC, and how better way to use the same guy that they use,
Yeah.
in a different context, because again he's not under contract, but how can we get him? Let's give him free tickets. It's in Ireland. Sit front row, do whatever the hell you want. I mean, like that's.
And Conor actually has some history with this ref. This is the same ref that told him to go sit down or something like that during the logo.
Oh, is that what it is?
fight.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same ref. And supposedly TMZ has him smacking one of the Bellator's employees, because I guess he came back, tried jumping again, and the employee kind of tried to stop him.
Yeah.
And Conor kind of slapped him.
God.
And so TMZ posted up that footage. And
What's funny though? Like even all this, given the opportunity, Scott Coker will send him like that, huh?
Yeah.
At the side, drop him out. So I guess this is kind of so it was in Dublin, but Bellator had the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulations was the one who was in charge of the event. And they had said, they quote, Mr. Conor McGregor was a spectator at the time, disrupted the event by scaling the cage prior to the conclusion of the bout. Mr. McGregor's conduct jeopardized the health and safety of the bout participants by delaying necessary medical attention to the fighters that were injured during the round. In addition, Mr. McGregor assaulted referee Mark Goddard and a Bellator staff. The MTDAR has been in consultation with the upper management of the UFC regarding Mr. McGregor's inappropriate and unacceptable behavior. The MTDAR has contacted members of the Association of Boxing Commissioners that have licensed Mr. McGregor in their jurisdiction to inform them of McGregor's behavior. So basically, I'm getting from this that nothing's gonna happen to Conor McGregor, right, Caramel?
If it's not in the States, it never happened.
Right, and then
Well, no, something have to happen because this behavior should not be tolerated. What if it would have been any other civilian?
Yeah.
You know, they would have been under arrest in jail. It's like I'm sick and tired of certain people getting a pass, but at the same time, I think this is actually smart in the Bellator that they push towards this. Because now they're hitting the UFC also because if Conor McGregor gets any type of suspension, yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Is like
they embraced it, they promoted it.
Yeah, Conor McGregor is out for the year, but the last time you guys saw him was inside the Bellator cage doing this, and this. But I do think there should be repercussions because, God forbid, Nick and Nate Diaz do the exact same thing. We wouldn't hear the end of it, you know?
Yeah, I think, what's it, another fine and community service for Conor McGregor?
When you invite Conor McGregor over, knowing how he acts when a teammate's fighting, have nothing between him and the cage. Come on, bro. You gonna tell me that's not what you want?
Is it work, you saying? We got worked? Yeah, so we'll see. I don't think what's the UFC going to do? They don't care. They're going to talk, oh, yeah, bad. Shame on you, McGregor. Go sit in the corner.
If anything, didn't watch just mad that Bellator got some publicity with Conor.
Yeah, that's about
and didn't have to pay a dime.
Yeah, so that's it for today's show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Also, Wednesday, going to drop our interview with Bionic Brittany Gideons. How about returning to the fight scene for her after a 2-year layoff? She's a 5-round sponsor athlete, a friend of the podcast. It's a great interview. Going to be dropping on Wednesday, so keep an eye out for that. Keep an ear out for that. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FiveRoundMMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, and YouTube. And also visit FiveRoundMMA.com. How about what do you got?
Look like Lonzo had to get off. That's his latest single. Everybody, go pick that up on iTunes.
Okay.
Careful,
wow, the cream of the crop.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.